You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
This tabletop game is wonderful. I always love the tabletop games. They're my favorite thing that you guys do. Definitely love Call of Cthulhu, but I'm loving this game because I feel like it's a mix between the Dark Tower series and the Wheel of Time series, plus Scott Pilgrim, but I know nothing about Scott Pilgrim other than the movie, and I'm happy. Not that hard to make me happy. That's not supposed to be an insult. What I'm saying is, I always love the tabletop games, and I really love this one too. You have Wheel of Time elements, you have Dark Tower elements, and now you have Ian doing his southern voice. It's like this episode's for me. I know it's for everybody, but oh my god, every time something awesome like that happens, I'm like, oh, well, this is wonderful. Keep going. Okay, bye. All right, guys, my boss, my mom, and my wife all talk extra slow because they're processing and they're trying to make sure they say the right thing, or my mom's getting older, so she doesn't always remember what she's going to say. And I'm sitting there staring at them with my ADHD brain going, what the fuck? Please hurry up. Or I'll, rotate my hand like, come on, come on, come on. I try to sit there and say nothing, but they hate when you fill their sentences for them. And I'm all like, well, your brain is slow. And Abby's all like, I'm trying to get what I'm saying. And I'm like, but you're not going fast enough. And if I guess, maybe I'll guess right. And most of the time I do, but they hate that. They really hate that. So I just try to not be like that and try to wait for them. But it's yeah.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
Hello.
We're all wearing headphones right now.
It's weird.
That seems real weird.
It does.
I can't believe we used to always do this.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't like hearing my voice in my ears right now.
So yeah, it's our all calls for work stuff. And that was the lovely voice of one terrified Michelle.
Got 3 of her calls just boom, 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 right in a row.
I love it.
I appreciate your love for the Scott Pilgrim game, Michelle, very much. You wouldn't believe the list of ideas and plans I have for the next arc on my phone. It is tremendous.
I love when you were talking about people talking slow. Because I'm right there with you, girl.
She also commented how much she was thrilled about all the Dark Tower talk and an episode that featured the Southern voice.
Yes.
That I did reading John's letter before. It's just an episode made for her. So I'm glad you enjoyed that too, Michelle. Glad we could do that for you.
We should probably do some more.
We can certainly do some more.
Give me some more. Give me some more. Gotta make another Buster Rhymes reference, like I always do.
Oh, what?
Sorry, another Buster Rhymes reference.
Oh, yeah. Like you're
God,
famous
with
for
all
it.
the Buster
Quite the
Rhymes
bust ahead.
references.
Yeah, if you could please stop making those.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting really annoyed with the amount of Buster
That's
Rhymes
true.
references you make.
One episode, the something commander, wing commander. Yeah, wing commander. You say, don't dig up that body. And I'm here to tell you a story that is frustrating on a funeral industry, funeral personnel level.
Dig up what?
She sounds like a ghost.
It's almost like it's too clear. But here's the problem. There's no transcription here. It says it's not available, and that's rare because even her hardest to hear calls are usually transcribed.
She is ghostly. She's not even popping up.
All right, let's run it back to the beginning. It's
Okay.
only 18 seconds. Let's run it back to the
Vampires don't pop up in mirrors, and ghosts don't pop up in voicemail.
Brush up on your lore.
All right, here we go.
Okay, in one episode, something commander, wing commander. Yeah, wing commander. You say, don't dig up that body.
Don't dig up that
dog?
Body?
Puppy? It sounded like puppy.
I heard dog. Don't dig.
Body.
We can all agree it was don't dig up that.
Something.
Yep.
All right, and this is on the Wing Commander episode, which I totally remember.
Let's just play back that whole episode
real quick,
and then that'll be this show.
Sweet.
We figure it out, and then we come back to this call and finish it up.
No.
It's an all calls with Michelle, but every time he mentions an episode, we play it in its entirety.
You say 10 times speed?
As the stinger. The Wing Commander episode is going to be the stinger for this episode. So
right.
stinger solved.
Taken care of.
Let's just see if we can piece this
at
together.
10 to 20 times speed.
Let's see if we can piece this together with context clues. Here we go.
I'm here to tell you a story that is frustrating on a funeral person
She's definitely in the bathroom.
Yeah.
level.
Or a coffin.
Let me give you some backstory.
Big
This may take more than one call. Number one, people are what we call disinterred semi-regularly. People move and they want to take their dead loved one with them. Sometimes they are put in a new casket and taken with the family. Sometimes they are cremated and taken with the family. Whatever, we do that. The coroner's office calls it exhuming. We call it disinterring. Anyway, when you do this, depending on how old that dead body is, you automatically buy a backup casket. If they don't use it and they never touch it, then you could send it back and not charge them for it. Otherwise, you definitely just buy one because that casket's going to look like shit. As you could probably all guess because none of you are idiots. However, I have this one guy who we work for. We don't work for him, and thank God for that. Who we work with, who is a seasoned embalmer and funeral arranger, who keeps fucking up, even though he's been doing this for so long at other mortuaries in 2 years here. So we get a thing that says, we're going to have a disinterment. Fine. It's from 1973. Okay. Family wants to see the body. No, you don't. It's 1973. You, as an arranger, are supposed to guide the family. Sure, they can have whatever they want within reason. This is not within reason. You do not want to see a 1973 body. Apparently the guy died in a fire. They didn't know if it was their dad. I posited that it probably was their dad if they haven't seen him in a while, but I didn't tell them that. But if he died in a fire and he died in 1973, there's nothing good about what you want to see there.
I can see
Not only
that.
that, but the day he was disinterred, the coroner showed up out of the blue. We had no idea that they were coming. You should tell us, as embalmers, that the coroner is coming because we need to get this person out of the casket. Because, oh, by the way, the information that we got says he's going to stay in his casket.
Okay, she hit her limit. So here's the next part.
I'm liking this story
I
so
am
far.
too.
I want to know, where this goes.
It picks right up. I do have a transcript.
He's going to stay in his casket from 1973. There's no backup casket ordered. My boss, he ordered a backup casket because he's intelligent. So the family wants the original casket to see their dad, who's been dead since 1973. All sorts of wrong. We have to break the casket open because they're locked. Okay? And even if they're not locked, they're rusted shut. It's 1973. Okay? Send him over to the coroner. By the way, skin and bones, actually not skin, grave wax, mud, and bones. And then, I guess ash, if you want to call it that. We call it cremated remains of the cremation, but he died in a fire, so there you go. They take his DNA, they take samples of their mom's DNA,
which I'm like, you're not going to be able to tell who he is from that. But I guess they took all the DNA from the family. Fine, whatever. You do you. And then he comes back, and then we're like, oh, so maybe he's not going to be seen by the family. Still going to be seen by the family when he comes back from the coroner. We have to put him on a table with the sheet covering him. And actually, we ended up putting him in his casket because his backup casket that my boss ordered, Mark, was here on time. And so we put him in that. And they signed like 5 million things saying, you can't sue us because we told you this is a super bad idea. And I guess the family was happy. And I was all like, they were like, yeah, that's my dad. And I'm like, did they tell by his efforts? Because there's no way in hell you could recognize his man. There's nothing identifiable on him. Although they did say that they weren't going to pay for the disinterment and reinterment if it's not their dad, which is also dumb. And I don't think that's okay, but honestly, the arranger gets away with everything, so probably. Anyway, fun story. You do not want to see your loved one from 1973. Oh yes, the casket looked like shit. It was degraded, and we had to tell them. And he had to take pictures. Instead of saying, casket from 1973, if you want to Google it, looks like shit. He, in a very nice and professional way, he had to take pictures of it, and then they were okay with the fact that we got them a different casket. So, yes, that's my story. Okay.
Wow.
That's a fucked up story.
That is a fucked up story.
First of all, I got so much out of this. First of all, I could not do her job.
No.
Holy fuck.
No.
I don't even consider things like someone wanting to dig up their charred corpse dead father who died 50 years ago.
Were you born in 73?
I was. I might be the reincarnation of this fella.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're having the reaction that you're having.
Maybe
to the story.
it is. You got my body. No, I don't know.
It's your Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood weakness. They're bringing their real bodies.
Exactly. But I don't. You don't even consider. There's you think about. I'd love to have this job, but there's all this stuff that you don't think about that would make you not want to have a job that you might think you might like to have. This is one of those jobs that I wouldn't want to begin with. And every time she tells a story or mentions something about the work she does, it makes me know even more in my heart that this would be the worst job for me.
Great story, by the way.
Great
story. That was awesome.
She said that they weren't gonna pay. I guess there was some question as to whether or not the guy in the grave was their father. And they were like, if this isn't our dad, we're not gonna pay the fees that were charged to dig him up and to potentially rebury him.
All right, we'll bring some dogs in. We got to get rid of these bones somehow.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
We interred the body you brought us, so it's on you.
Yeah, but
buyer beware.
I have thought.
Will not issue refund for it.
You break it, you buy it.
I have thought about. My mom passed away long time ago, and she's buried in Nashville, which is. I always thought was stupid because that's just where they lived when she died. And there was no like connection there for her other than it's where they lived when I was a kid, where I was born, and where they lived when she died. And she's buried down there. And it's so like out of the way and kind of hard to get to that I never go to her grave. And I'm not that kind of guy though. Never been the kind of person to visit graves. I remember people, and I think about my mom a lot, and I remember people, and that's all. There's no, to me, significance necessarily. But see, I'm a cremation person.
Yeah.
And first of all, I think it's more environmentally and financially responsible to cremate. And second of all, I would have liked for my mother to have either been buried in Paducah, where she lived pretty much my whole life, or to have been cremated so I could have her remains at my home. Tanya's father was cremated, and we have some of his remains in an urn in our house. And we put it on the shelf so he can watch TV with us because that was his thing. He liked to watch TV, just like we do. And her grandmother was cremated, and we've got some of her remains. And my cats were cremated, and I've got their remains. And it's not
all one big bucket on the mat.
Just dumped them together. In fact, we just threw them in a fire pit, and we just leave it outside. But really, I don't know how much of their actual ashes are still there. They've probably been washed
Throw
away.
it in the love bucket outside.
Yeah, we would put our cigarettes out in it. It's just, But no, I think that's more appropriate. And I've thought about, because my dad talks a lot about dying, because he's in his mid-70s and he's convinced he's going to be dead any minute. But he I think is now, because whenever we buried Mom, they bought 2 plots next to one another, one for her and one for him when he dies. But there was no knowledge of future events, which again, this is all about think things through. There's no future knowledge here that my dad was going to remarry and be with this woman for 20 plus years or more,
Right.
and have a whole nother thing with her. And now what? When he dies, what? He's going to still be buried next to my mom. And then what about Cindy? And she's just as much a part of the family, but her family will probably, she's from California, so her family will probably take care of those arrangements, and that would be more for them. But I wouldn't want her, Cindy, to be buried next to my dad and my mom, because that would be weird. And then it would be completely inaccessible to her family later, blah, 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 blah. So I've thought about, once my dad is dead, getting my mom out of the ground and having her body moved or cremated so that I can at least have still some connection to her final rest in a physical way.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really bothering me, it bothers me that she's buried down there in a place that doesn't have any real significance to anyone, right? And Dad's talked about possibly having it moved, all this stuff. And it's like, but now I'm hearing Michelle's story about what a shit show having someone disinterred is. And now I'm like, maybe we just leave the body remains where they are and continue to remember my mother the way that I have for the last, 17 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's it. My point is, that was a great story because it really got me thinking about things that mattered in my personal life,
It got me thinking about coffin flop. It's the first thing I thought of, because I was thinking about how, like, that when she mentioned, like you gotta have a backup coffin, and the moment she said backup coffin, I thought of coffin flop from I Think You Should Leave, and which is just real footage of people falling out of coffins at funerals.
Yeah.
Bring back Corn Cob TV. Go save it.
Next call?
Yeah.
It's from Michelle.
So you're eating a package of World's Best Gummy Bears, and the instructions were to eat them one at a time, and not by the fistful.
Sacrilege.
And I don't know what your guys' tolerance is, but all I can think of with those instructions is they are edible. I haven't finished the episode, and you guys ate one at a time, but not spaced out. I could be very wrong. They're not edibles, but I don't know. But that's what it. With those instructions, I'd be like, these are edibles, and I'm not going to eat them. But that just means she's like, you can't do edibles. Nope. I like being in control of my own mind. I had a very bad experience where I ate edibles, and it was like 20 milligrams, which you shouldn't start off with, but I.
It's a lot.
And it was like the past, the present, and the future were all coming around, circling around my head
Like
at
you
once.
do.
That's what it felt like to me. That's how the only way I could describe it. I would say something funny, and then I would laugh like 5 minutes later about the funny thing I said, and I would.
It was really 5 seconds
freaking
later.
out.
It just felt like 5 minutes later.
That's how it would go. I'd say something funny, freak out, laugh, ask a question, say something funny, ask if I asked the question, did I do the thing, and it just kept cycling for so long. I just didn't like it. It's not my thing. But maybe you all have higher tolerances, and maybe a fistful of edibles will be fine. I don't know. But I also don't know that they're edibles. They might just be gummy bears that are good, and I don't know, give you diarrhea, which for Tyler is just normal, I guess. Anyway.
I have information for that.
Well, I have a guess. Like, so you have facts. Yes. Are we talking about diarrhea or gummy bears?
Diarrhea.
Oh, okay. Well, my guess is on the gummy. Those were not edibles.
We were not eating edibles
They were
on
not
the show.
edibles.
If I had eaten,
Two of us are healthcare workers. They were not edible.
They were definitely not edibles.
if I had eaten a fistful of edibles, gummies, I would have time traveled similar to what Michelle described, and I would still be there. I do not have a tolerance, and also 20 milligram gummy to start for your first time ever. Yeah, that's a whole lot. So that's why you had that experience.
My guess is that the package had that on it so that in case you ate more than one gummy bear at a time, choked on it, and died, and then your family tried to sue them, they'd be like, well, how many do they eat at the same at once?
4.
Oh, well, fuck, did they read the package?
You owe us money.
Yeah.
I don't shove gummy bears into my mouth by the fistful, but I do not wait for the one that's in my mouth to be fully chewed and swallowed before I do the next one. And usually I end up with basically a mouthful of gummy.
I could die by gummy bear. I really could.
too.
I'm the kind of person. That's why they put it on the package. Because I do
like Homer Simpson, those fuckers.
When
just
I do,
dump them in there.
I
love having way too many gummy bears in my mouth.
It's a good feeling
because it's just like
do we have thoughts on the giant gummy bears? Have you seen
those
these
things?
I got Nicole one for her birthday one year.
Yeah,
I don't like them. I kind of defeats. I don't want to take a bite out of a gummy bear.
Yeah,
I want the one gummy or several small gummy bears at once.
Would you rather fight 100 small gummy bears
or one giant one? Yeah, I'm going with the 100 smalls.
Yeah.
It seems gross. It seems gross to me that it's that big. I don't know. I feel like it would be the same taste.
Cut it with a knife and fork. Eat it like meatloaf.
Slice it like meatloaf.
Yeah.
Really, like with an electric knife.
Yeah, or cranberry.
Serve it at Thanksgiving. Yeah, exactly. With a little bed of lettuce around it.
Ooh, now we're talking.
So
diarrhea facts.
Diarrhea. So since I have cut out all sugar without fiber for the pre-diabetes, which my A1C is almost back to normal now.
Nice.
But I've noticed a remarkable change in my body that I am extremely sensitive to sugar.
Yeah.
So sugar, the more you eat, your bowels dump water in because of the sugar content. I'm not sure why. I've read it at one point in time, but more water is put into your intestines and everything when you eat sugar. I ate so much sugar, I had constant diarrhea. So cutting way back on the sugar, stuff's way more normal than it was. I also didn't realize how bad I felt with all the sugar I used to eat until I sort of broke my prohibition the other day whenever the workday's almost over. I knew I had to go somewhere after work, so I wasn't going to get to eat. I went out there and what's on the freebie table because we'd already closed the cafe, and it was cookies and key lime pudding. So I grabbed one of each. I ate them both. Felt sick as shit, and then proceeded to have the shits for the rest of the night. So I know
it's linked to sugar.
It's absolutely linked to sugar. Yeah. After everything I've gone through and all the colonoscopies and all that shit, like. Just eating too much sugar.
John and I were having a discussion the other day about how ridiculously bad sugar is for you, and but how fucking delicious it is and how awesome it is to eat. And I hate that. I hate that. I'm like you, Tyler. I will eat. I could eat sugar all the time.
Yep.
And I probably, I tried my best to cut down, but I still do and eat more sugar than I should. And it's so bad for you. And it's like, it's in literally everything that if you're not paying attention, it's probably going to have sugar
it's
in
in
it.
it's in every
Well, the added sugars are the really bad sugars. I mean, like the sugars that you get in like fruit and all that.
Even now, I just was watching a TikTok about like a zoo has had to stop giving fruit to their animals because we have bred fruit to be so sweet it is now harmful. So they have to like give more balance that fruit out with a lot more healthy greens for animals and who will not eat unless they're given the super sweet fruit. So they've had to like change diets for all these animals completely. Like red pandas were killing themselves on plums. Plums are like 20 times sweeter than they used to be
I'm
just
sorry.
like 10 years ago.
That's sad and tragic. That was a funny sentence.
Red pandas are killing themselves with plums.
So they just have red panda pellets. So yeah, you're right. Even to an extent, like I try to balance it out with fiber, like nature would have intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shit's bad. Shit's bad. Shit's everywhere. High fructose corn syrup, everything. It all sucks. My main dessert is either keto granola or low glycemic index kind bars. I do a lot of that. So
When I was a
Proper
kid,
One brownies.
when I was a kid and beyond, everything was something sweet.
Oh, yeah.
And my parents tried to keep the sugar away, but I was watching videos the other day and I saw a couple of TikToks. I got the algorithm picked up on the whole Gen X thing, and I went through a bunch of Gen X related TikToks, and God, everything was about like candy and sugary cereals and all the shit. And I got to thinking about it and I'm like, how the fuck do I not have diabetes?
Cereal's the hardest thing I've had to cut out because that is just
Yeah.
fucking straight
It's pure sugar.
lactose, sugar, and milk on top of just regular fucking sugar.
And
table
all
sugar.
the carbs from the fucking wheat. And it's
Yeah.
just, it just shocked me when I really started thinking about it, how just much sugar I have consumed in my life and how I'm not a completely fat and bigger, way bigger than I am. It amazes me.
Sugar's easier for me because I don't really like sweets that much. I know it's in more than sweets, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, I could probably live the rest of my life. If a doctor was like, you can't have cookies ever again, I'd be like, well, I mean, that sucks that now I want one because they're taken away from me.
Right.
But otherwise, I would have been like, okay, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sodium's a hard one for me. Like, sodium's
Yeah.
so
Okay.
difficult. Not only do I like
That's also packed into everything.
right,
like,
right.
unbelievable.
I mean,
Probably more so than sugar.
yeah, I mean, because like I
It's
watch
in
my
everything.
sodium, and by that I mean that I break my sodium budget every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's a hard one because you have to maintain. If you go too low, you fuck yourself up. If you go too high, you fuck yourself up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sodium's really hard. If there's one thing I need to get under control, it is that. But yeah, it's in everything. I mean, it's like it's tough to live a life that doesn't completely revolve around your diet
It really
and
is.
go and make a sodium
because
goal,
it's
meet a
so
sodium goal.
easy to get things to eat that are bad for you.
Right.
And it's so hard to get things to eat that are good
I just
for you.
want
Yeah.
to save the mental bandwidth because when I'm watching my diet, that takes all of my mental
Yeah.
bandwidth because I'm thinking about it and planning it and trying to form around it as opposed to just grab something to eat and fucking go, and I can use that energy on a billion other things I have to.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hate it.
The
Yeah.
whole system is stacked against us, keeping us sugared up. Speaking of, there's a great apparently cookie new place that opened, cookie company, Crumble Cookies. Opened over near our Books a Million and that
Oh,
shopping
yeah?
center. There has literally been a line to get into that place.
I've always
every
seen 'em all
day
over
since
TikTok.
they opened, and I don't know anything about it because it opened in the shopping center near where we have a PetSmart and a Books a Million, and I take my dogs to the PetSmart to get their nails clipped and get a bath. And the last time I took my little dog to do that was a couple weeks ago, and it usually takes them a couple of hours. So I went next door to Books A Million and wandered around in there for a while. And then I was like, oh yeah, they opened this cookie place. And I thought, well, Tanya would really like to try these cookies because, I don't know if they're any good though. Because
crumbly cookies, you eat them anytime.
I got in the line, and I got about almost to the front of the line. I was in line for like 25 minutes. Fortunately, the weather wasn't bad. But I was in line for like 25 minutes, and then PetSmart called me and said my dog was ready and I needed to come pick her up.
Sir, where are you? In a Chick-fil-A simulator?
I'm in Clarksville. I'll be there in 25 minutes. So anyway, I had to get out of the line to go pick up my dog, and then I left. Because A, I had the dog with me at that point, and
You don't
B,
want to get back in line.
I don't want to get back in
Yeah,
that
it's-
line, and I don't care that
With the
much.
dog? Yeah.
So I'm trying to, but apparently they're open super late. They're open till like midnight on Friday. So I'm thinking after I'm done here, if
Pretty
it's not
smart.
midnight, I might go get a cookie
If
for
only-
Tanya.
If only they could be a little bit closer to the Illinois border.
Just a little bit.
I feel like they feel like they're
Clever,
open
clever.
late for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, they are right by the exit.
Yep.
The first exit,
Yep.
well, second exit from
Pretty
Illinois.
good.
So
They need to
yeah.
have like a billboard or something on the way, on I-24 on the way
You'll
in.
thrive on our cookies.
Wink.
All right. You want to do another call?
Sure,
Or-
yeah, let's do another call.
Thrive's the pot dispensary, by the way. If that sounded like a weird joke to anybody not at this table.
I think they're kind of like I don't know how far reaching they are, but I think they're a bunch of Thrives, yeah.
Would you care to guess as
How many?
to who the next caller is?
I bet it's
Brew
beloved
pounder.
Adam.
What's up, Tadpog? It's your beloved Adam.
Yeah!
Well, you made me look like a fool. Maybe unintentionally.
We made
But
him look like a fool.
I recently
apparently.
called praising the music that you guys play during the times when you take breaks on the show.
The transition.
Just to recap, in case that these two calls don't end up on the same all calls episode,
Good thinking.
I had mentioned that I thought it was silly for you guys to let us know that you're taking a break when the magic of editing, you could just take your break and come back and we'd never even know that you left. But what I said was you guys had gotten some new music that was channeled specifically, made specifically for that moment, and I thought it was magical. Well, following that call, you ceased to use it. So I don't know if there was a copyright issue or you just forgot or you don't like it or what happened.
I bet it was the point at which I started editing the show.
Oh, I don't know. He might be talking about the
The break,
Dalton's
the
piss break.
Piss break music.
Yeah, the piss break
Yes.
music that Dalton did. If you're talking about that, the reason that, because I was editing the show then, Ian is doing it now and has been doing it for a while. But when I was editing the show, that the breaks, it gave me the idea. I was like, oh, it'd be fun maybe to put the music for the game that we're talking about in the breaks. And that's kind of where the transition started. And then now that Ian is editing, he's doing it his own way. He's kind of taking that and being creative with that in his own way. So that's just kind of, I don't know how that evolved.
The evolution of that. Well, I just thought of it as a point in which I could try to be funny or relevant. I always, as I've mentioned before, the stuff I put in between segments, I try to make relevant to the discussion that we're having in that segment,
I love
or
them.
about the game,
I
or
think they're
about
great.
the movie that the game is about, or something. Just, funny things like Demolition Man. To the transition between the intro and the game talk, Demolition Man was the cut of them saying Pizza Hut instead of Taco Bell that was released in Europe. And it's not as effective in an audio only format, but the video of that, I highly recommend you
I
look
haven't
up.
seen the video yet.
It's so bad. It's so, for a multi-million-dollar blockbuster movie.
Do they put like a JPEG, like a flat JPEG, like over Taco Bell logos?
It's noticeable.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. And when they say it, they didn't reshoot the segments. They just overdubbed it.
Okay, you're right.
Because most of the places in Europe that are watching it aren't primarily English-speaking countries.
Right.
So they're probably not going to. They're probably getting it overdubbed anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's bad.
We're showing this in France and on TBS.
But yeah. So it's like that's just sort of an example of why I do what I do, and I don't get a lot of feedback on it. But that's not ever been something I've been terribly concerned with. I like doing it because it just gives me a chance to be funny, be creative. So
Yeah, man.
Anyway, the call continues.
Happened, but now we're just getting random sound effects from games and things in between, and I go back to my first comment of, at this point, you don't need to tell us that you're taking a break because we would never know with a simple edit. And you can't tell me that editing out your break is less work than editing in music.
My master's degree in TV and radio production says differently, Adam. So why don't you speak to something you actually know?
In between your break. I love you guys. You know that. I would give up anything for you, and so I'm not going to stop listening or stop calling. I just thought it was very interesting that the moment that I swayed away from my initial opinion, it was changed because the song was removed. So I don't know what happened. You may change it again and bring it back, and I'll call back then. But I just wanted to point out how funny and ironic that was.
Would it be inappropriate for me to just tell him to stop overthinking it?
Sometimes the extra effort for a creative endeavor is satisfying as opposed to just cutting something out.
Yeah, and we had agreed. We had talked about breaking the show up anyway to make it a little more digestible. So I know that we could just edit it seamlessly together, but then I feel like it goes against the decision that we made, where it's like there's going to be segments of the show.
There are actually, and Adam, I understand that you're not really that worried about it. We're just having a conversation, but there are reasons from a demographic standpoint, from a production, and I don't have a master's degree in radio and television production, but there are reasons for breaking it up this way. It does make the show more digestible. It does provide a bit of a transition, and that's why I always call it the transition from the three completely different segments that we have mapped out. So we want to say the listener now has the opportunity to sort of cleanse their palate, and now we're ready to listen to this part of the show. It also provides a nice way for someone who's not interested in hearing the intro to jump forward to, when they hear this thing, it's like, oh, okay, now we're getting ready to get into the game talk, which is what I'm here for.
Right.
There's several reasons for it, but mostly it's just because Dave said, I don't care what you do, just do whatever you want, and that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. I cut all that kind of stuff out of the Scott Pilgrim episodes, and sometimes it's hard to line up the start and the end in a way that makes sense, or does it sound janky, or does it sound unnatural?
Sure, yeah.
So it does take, depending on how you took your break, effort whenever you could just throw sound, highlight this and this, plug in a song, you're done.
Yeah,
as a transition. Yeah, totally, man. And it's like, I remember when we first started doing the show, and I was spending, 4 to 5 hours per episode editing out all of the ums, all the ahs, the breaths in, like all of it was coming out. And then several people told me, you are over editing this podcast.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, you're right. So I know
it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound conversational.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all a way of, and we still truncate silence, but I mean,
that's just to save time.
And it's honestly, it's used pretty conservatively.
It is. I run one pass of truncate silence, and all it does is it eliminates any break that's longer than 2 seconds.
Right.
And that's just because I would rather do that than have someone be driving down the
Right.
road, listening to our show
Yep.
and being like, what's
Did my
happened,
phone
and
just
start
die?
fiddling with their
Yes,
phone and have
dude.
a wreck or something. That's a legitimate concern for me.
There are podcasts I listen to that I love, and there are times where it's like, dude, please truncate silence,
Right?
Because you just were silent for 7 seconds, and I'm in my car, and I'm like, did my phone, is my battery in my
Right.
phone dead?
Now
What?
suddenly your focus is on what's wrong with your phone and not the road, even
Or
if
the
it's
show.
for a moment, or the show.
I mean,
you've lost your train of thought. So yeah, that's what we do. I'd say on average it takes me a couple of hours to edit our show every week, and that includes finding something to use as a transition. But there's a lot of times we have long conversations before we ever actually start recording the show that I have to find the end of, because I don't like hit stop. I just hit record when we get in here. And for each segment, I just let it run until we've come to the natural conclusion of that segment. But then I got to go find where it starts, and am I going to use something that we talked about ahead of time as a stinger, and then
Right.
what part of that am I going to use? So it's just if you listen to just about any other podcast, and I've taken a lot of cues from like Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, which is very produced.
Yeah, but not overly,
But not
produced.
overly
Yeah.
produced, and it's produced in a way that feels really good to me, and that's kind of where I get that, is because it provides a flow, it provides a nice, it takes you out. You might be in a funk or in a zone or whatever. It takes you out of that and puts you in a fresh state of mind. There's any number of reasons why we do it, and I'm not saying that Adam's complaining, but he did.
Adam
he did,
is, though.
He did imply that he was curious as to why we don't
Right.
just run it together.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to the extent that I am to explain.
No,
it.
I love it. Obviously,
Right.
But I mean, what I'm really curious about, because obviously we're a little behind on calls, but I'm curious what song he's talking about. What specifically he's talking about, because I assume he's talking about the Piss Break song. That
I know
Dalton-
that's got to be the
That
one.
he ended up suing us over using it. so
right.
we
Yeah.
ended up being able
So
to
thanks,
stop.
Dalton. Now
Thanks
we're
for
all,
that,
It's all
Dalton.
Dalton's
We're all
fault.
broke. I hope you enjoy all our money.
Yeah, we were in the black.
Yeah. For
Just
once.
living high on the hog
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks, and
Uh-huh.
then fucking you come along
Right.
and took it all.
Yep.
Dalton.
Thanks a lot, man.
Last time we asked you for anything. Wait, didn't we just
won't
have
be,
him
though.
do something for us recently?
Pizza
yeah, he did the
Tower.
pizza tower.
The pizza
theme.
tower. Yeah, thank you. God, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was so fucking good. All right, this call is not over.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Right. Oh,
continue.
right. Okay.
We've still got like a full minute.
Also, I'm excited.
He's gonna say, I really hope that you don't explain anything to me.
It's
I
imperative.
just want you to play my call and get my opinion out there, but I really don't care.
This is the price you pay.
We'll send
Sucks
him
for
the edited
you.
version of this episode where we cut out all that talk and just send him
Here's your version of the show. Enjoy all the silence.
super edited.
To see the next evolution of Terrified Michelle's phone call. Terrified Michelle, I love you to death, and I'm excited. I don't mean that because you're a mortician, but hey, happy accident there. I love you to
Hey-o.
death.
Coffin flops.
And I think that your calls are fantastically odd and weird and mostly unintelligible. But
Agree on all fronts.
I'm excited
What do you
to see the
mean?
next evolution, because we've gone from semi-unintelligible to semi-unintelligible with Janie in the
I
background
love
talking as well,
God,
which
those
is
make
almost
me-
I know.
less
I
intelligible
love it
because
when
the
Janie's
volume
in
is
the
lower
background.
because she's further away. So I'm excited.
I've got to pause.
Yeah, please.
I need to just put another spotlight
Abby.
on
So-
Abby and
right,
Michelle.
Right, sorry.
That is,
That's how old this call is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is one of my favorite things, is when we're just, balls deep in a Michelle call. And then Abby pipes in out of nowhere, and we all just,
I love
every
it.
one of us
I
at the
love
table
it.
just
Like, you
lights
gotta
up.
call her.
Hey!
It's a great surprise.
It
you
is
know?
every time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and Michelle's calls are awesome anyway, and they just get a little more awesome when we get that nice Abby surprise.
Yes.
So, yeah, that I had to pause for the cause on that one.
Totally,
Here
I
we
get it.
go.
excited for you two to buy a convertible and drive as fast as you can down the street while trying to make a call to Dave so that I can, Dave and Tyler and Ian, and I can hear Ian closing his eyes thinking about what you guys are saying.
Yep.
Please keep calling, and I look forward to seeing what's next on this wild, wild train of phone calls.
Dude, Adam.
I love you all so very much, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
for calling.
Love you too.
Love you so much.
You talking about them driving a convertible, like, just made me think someone has to do a ROM hack of Outrun
with them.
with Michelle and Abby.
And the
in
audio is just a 16-bit rendered rendering of any phone call.
Or do you take one of Michelle's calls and render it so that it's the sound of the engine in Outrun? So anytime you accelerate, it's
I love the idea that Michelle has to go hide in coffins to call us so she doesn't get in trouble.
She had to have been in the bathroom in a stall at work or something.
Oh, I found
I
found a hidden bathroom at work.
Nice.
Today.
Private bathroom.
Found a hidden bathroom.
It's the doctor's bathroom that you don't know.
It's not that nice. It's just a hidden one. So it's like, okay, this is definitely where I come to poop. Because I haven't pooped at work in a long time.
Right.
Long time.
Man.
Because I'm in an office. Have I told this story before? I can't remember or not.
That you're in an office? Yes, you've mentioned
Yes.
that.
I'm in an office that it's pretty much like 4 hallways just kind of put together.
Yeah.
And I took I did a massive dad shit in one of the bathrooms. The farthest away, there's 3 bathrooms. And I went to the one farthest away from the people that I work with. So it meant I went to another department's bathroom and just did horrible things to it. Not on purpose. I'm not proud of it.
Right. It
just happened.
It happened.
And it needed to happen. And then I went, that was done. And when I left, there were people in the hallway talking. And I was like, they don't ever do that. And I was like, oh, they're definitely talking about this fucking massive shit that I just took. They're definitely talking about that. And then I get back to my office and I'm like, no, you're overthinking this. You always do this shit. The world doesn't revolve around you. They're definitely not talking about the very stinky shit that you just took.
I hope one of them is like Jen from Lost. When they saw you coming in, they ran out. Other.
So I convinced myself that that's totally not what was going on. They were just talking about some other stuff. And then I went back to use that bathroom a few days later, and there was a sign in there that
no
said,
Daves allowed.
If you make a stinky, please spray afterwards. And there was yeah, and it had an emoji of a smiley face, and then next to it was like one of the fucking Febreze things. And I was like, all right, I'm never shitting at work again. Not shitting at work, because the other bathrooms were close to the people I work with, and my shit stinks because it's shit.
Right. You don't have to explain. We know. We understand.
Yeah. So I've been doing that.
It's all that sodium.
Probably, man. I don't get them sugar shits up and down my back.
Fuck.
Dave, I'm
Yeah.
here to tell you I am a sucker for dad jokes. So I really loved when Tyler told you that the door was slightly ajar, and then you said, "I will climb into the jar."
Oh boy, there's a history.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an old like inside joke. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, I don't even know where that originated. I know it originated from a D&D game in college.
Ramon
and
and Ryan.
right? Yeah.
Yep. The door is
Hi,
ajar.
Tampa.
What
I just
manner
got
of
out of-
sorcery is this? I
I
climb
can't-
into the jar.
I can't hear that phrase and not think about that.
Yep.
I mean, it's every time I hear a jar, that's where I go.
Hi, Tadpog. I
Hi.
just got out of watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and by the time you get this call, I already know that Ian has watched it for sure, and I have to tell you, I agree with him, unless he doesn't agree with me. Then that'd be weird. It was amazing! Oh my god. It was like a Marvel fangirl's wet dream, if a wet dream can also be a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like a gross horror film with the blood and the guts and the intestines or anything like that. It was like Stephen King, but like if somebody who cared about Stephen King's books actually directed a Stephen King movie. So yeah, it was amazing. It was wonderful. There was a scene that was like, either I don't know how much time has passed or that's not possible, but hey, it's a horror movie. They did what they had to do. Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm glad she liked it. I really did like that movie.
Yeah, man.
And I got to tell you, though, I am so far behind on my Marvel. For me, I know you guys are always usually a little further behind me, and I am way behind. I haven't even seen Guardians 3. I haven't seen Guardians 3. I haven't started watching the new season of Loki, which was one of my favorite Marvel.
Loki I am interested in. Everything else I don't care.
I don't know. I feel like we hit the twilight of Marvel, and it's going to be tough for them to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Star Wars universe is getting stronger in its offerings, so go figure. Maybe we'll get on that Star Wars Marvel seesaw where for a while this is better than that, and this is better than that, and I don't know. But yes, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Fucking great movie. Thank you for calling. Let's take another call.
Good morning, TADPOG.
Hi.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the women of TADPOG. Hey, Tyler and Dave, playing old games. Who would you rather hang out with? Duffman from The Simpsons?
Yes.
Or Slurm McKenzie from Futurama? I'm sitting here. I'm drinking a beer. It's 9:11
What?
in the morning.
Really?
Making coffee, drinking a beer, and I was like, Duffman or Slurm McKenzie. Love you guys. Bye.
Okay, so this is the shit I'm talking about with the whole time being 9/11. It doesn't actually have to be 9/11, but when I see it, but I constantly run into the time of 9/11. This call was made at 9:11 a.m. It says 8:10 a.m., which means time zone.
change.
In their time, it was 9/11, and on Mother's Day, May 8th, 2022. I'm going to encounter 9/11 everywhere I go.
Well, especially
Even if
since you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's always a thing, and I know everyone else is seeing it now too. So sorry, not sorry. Duff man.
Yeah, Duff man. I don't want to come off as like specious or anything, but I mean, I don't want to hang out with a slug all day.
Well, plus Duff man was my first pick of the non-Simpsons Simpsons draft.
Oh yeah, totally. I knew
Duff
for
man.
sure which way you're going.
See, I don't like beer, so I'm gonna say Slurm McKenzie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had? Do you like Slurm?
I do. I fucking love Slurm. I fucking love that.
I get it.
Slug excretion.
It's because it's slug excretion that makes it so good.
That's true.
Next call.
Hey, I just listened to Dave's recounting of his activities in Vegas on his work trip, which reminded me that I needed to drop a TADPOG misconnection. So you were a svelte Asian man, tall, handsome, business attire. I was a doofy, nerdy white dude wearing a Dave-style chicken shirt. And you asked me about the shirt, which made me have to explain an inside joke on a podcast. And explain the podcast. I hope it was enough to intrigue you. And if you come across this phone call ever, then I'm happy you are a new-ish listener. Yours, Bubba Drewski.
Bubba
great show,
Drewski.
guys. Love y'all. Bye.
Love you too. That was a fucking. I love that, man. I love because that means that shirt was so weird that the stranger had to ask. Did your child draw that?
A svelte Asian man in business attire. Asked about the Dave style chicken shirt.
He might have been risen you.
Perhaps where could I acquire some Dave style chicken?
I think he was probably
the back of the Dollar General in Sharp, Kentucky.
Only place exclusively.
My name is Brian Hills. This is a notification call from our Department of Tax Debt and Financial Settlement Services. there are new programs that can help you reduce or eliminate your debt completely.
Okay.
It is possible that your tax debt can now be considered temporarily non-collectible.
I don't have any.
You can call me back at my personal desk, 833.
Fuck that.
Temporarily?
Your person. We should call him.
His name is Brian Health.
Brian Health.
Hills. It says Brian,
Brian
Hills.
Health.
This is Brian Health. You know, the health guy.
To any like really old people listening to this podcast, that was a scam call. I feel like I need to point it out because
Have them keep play the number.
Brian Health calls a lot of old people and they keep giving them money.
If you're interested in knowing how to make your tax debt considered temporarily non-collectible, let me know and I'll give you the number.
Man, I keep
because that will be funny.
That would be funny. Hey, I heard your call through a podcast and I think we could talk. I keep getting a call from like this fucking service or whatever, and they're like, I don't pick up because I don't recognize the number, of course. So it's like, but I listen to the voicemail, and they're like, it always starts like halfway through the sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and there's ways that you can like, our records show that you're due some money for COVID employee refunds, and it's just like, I want to call back and be like, you're really bad at that. I'm not a business. I'm a person. I don't know what's the scam there. Do people call back and they're like, yes, this is business. I hear you have money for me.
This is business, dog.
Yes, this is business, dog. I money want.
Hey, TADPOG. I just got back from Florida for 2 weeks. Walt Disney World is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Universal Studios is missing a lot of trees for a very hot place, but the Hogwarts and Diagon Alley are
more like Hotwarts.
Fantastic, and that's all
Am
we
I
care
right?
about because that's all we love. And it was too hot, and so we left immediately after Hogwarts because we are wimps and we don't like weather in Florida. It is hot, it is muggy, or it is a hot rain with thunder and lightning, and the lightning that touches the ground sometimes, and it's terrible, and people run in a thunderstorm. And I'm like,
You also described the weather in Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah.
No one likes the weather in Florida. You don't go to Florida because you like the weather unless you like hot, muggy weather, or you're going to the beach.
The beach. Yeah.
Where
the
it's
weather
windy
is
and nicer.
nice on the beach. Yeah.
We went to Florida, Panama City Beach, and we had rented a condo, and it was right on the beach. It was one of those really tall, like 15-story condo complexes, and it faces the ocean. And they had a sign up in the thing that said, "Do not open the front and the back door at the same time." And I, of course, immediately said, "Hold that door. I'm going to go open the patio door that faces the wind." It creates this wind tunnel that sucks everything out the front door. And that's why they had the sign there.
No ticket.
I would love to go to Hogwarts at Universal Studios. I think that would be a lot of fun. Michelle's call continues.
I'm like, but why? If you're going to get hit by lightning, you're going to get hit by lightning. Running isn't going to help. Just walk to shelter. Just walk. But, yeah, so I'm pretty sure God's mad at Florida for lots of reasons. We can figure it out. And also, we came back with a souvenir that none of us wanted. Me and Abby have the COVID.
Oh,
man.
But luckily, as we have 3 vaccines, we don't have that many symptoms. We're just coughing up some phlegm. But I wanted to ignore it and stay at work because we don't have enough coverage right now. But I decided to get tested and I have COVID. So I tested and I was like, you got the test. don't? And I was like, no, I can't be a super spreader. I can't be an asshole because not everybody at my work is vaccinated. And you just can't do that. You just can't do that. Even though you want to, it's not okay. But we're okay. We're okay.
Well, you spread
And my
COVID, just get
parents
more business.
And my brother have
Pretty smart.
the 2 vaccines and the 2 boosters because my parents are old and my brother's diabetic. So it works out well for them. Abby and I are not old enough, nor are we immunocompromised in any way. So, we were the COVID
We got all
package.
sorts of diseases.
So everybody's okay. We just have phlegm. Abby is, a little sad, but she has some other things going on. I won't tell them on the phone because she'll be like, why are you telling them everything? Oh,
I mean, it
okay.
would be nice to hear her voice, but
Abby has a butt like Tyler's.
Yes.
Only when she has IBS. It's only when she shuts off her IBS. Okay, that's all. Okay, we love you guys. I was going to say something to Ian. I don't remember what it was. I'll think about it. Okay, bye.
She said she was going to say something to me.
Yeah.
Cut down on your sugar, Abby.
Yep.
Apparently that will help a lot with the butt problems.
Yeah.
Sorry you had COVID, but
Yes.
I'm glad you guys are okay.
I hope it was not severe at all and you had some nice time together.
Yeah, and it sounds like it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And
We
by
love y'all
now
too.
I've had 4 boosters. I can't remember. I still haven't gotten it yet. I managed to go this whole time without getting COVID, but then so is my dad, and I found out the other day that my dad has recently had COVID. I haven't talked to him since he told me this in a voicemail, but it's still out there, everybody. So be
Oh, yeah,
careful.
for sure.
Be careful, especially this time of year. Go get your COVID shot. Go get your flu shot. Take care of everybody else, including and yourself.
I was scheduled to get my COVID shot. I got my flu shot through work, which is nice. I love that. I was scheduled to get my COVID booster, and then I was like, okay, so what do I need? Oh yeah, insurance cards. Oh, I never got those. Oh shit. When am I supposed to be there? Oh, in 15 minutes? I don't think I can get my insurance cards sent to me in 15 minutes.
They told me I would have to bring my insurance cards, and they never.
They
asked
didn't
for
check
them. Maybe though they were already on file. It was at Walgreens.
And my insurance changed.
It may have been on file already, and they just filed against it. And
maybe.
she was like, "We've even been filing them against just like prescription plans."
I see.
It's being paid for everywhere. It's just not being paid for by the government, and they call it Spikevax now.
Spikevax.
Moderna's, since the government isn't funding it anymore, and it's like out there just as a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Their name, their like brand name for their COVID vaccine is Spikevax.
All right.
Sounds
sinister.
effective. Sounds like the Dr. Evil of vaccines.
It does.
I was hoping she would say she brought ants back in her pussy instead of COVID.
We got souvenirs.
Souvenirs no one wanted. Pussy ants.
She's like, I'd rather have COVID.
I don't know why they all love it so much. Probably all the sugar I eat.
All right. Let's see.
I got my insurance cards.
Good.
It's all good.
Nice.
Oh,
It's all
good. Yes.
Still need to get the booster.
Go get your booster.
I need to.
Both of you, go get your booster.
Get my flu shot. I need to get my COVID booster.
I'm actually more like glad to hear everybody's had their flu shot.
The flu shot is easy. I mean, the boost, it's easier than the booster just because I feel like flu shots, they've just been around for a long time.
Yeah,
and you can
there's
just
been a lot.
walk in somewhere and be like, can I get a flu shot? And they're like, yep.
Yeah, you can. Man,
this is a Wendy's, but yes.
But yeah.
but we are in fact having a flu shot clinic
Now you know why we charge $36 for our food now.
in the manager's office.
He's like the number 4 vaccinator. Yeah, okay.
That's a good fucking joke.
That is a good fucking joke.
That's a good fucking joke.
I like it.
That was good.
I'll have one chocolate frosty, flu vaccination, and some fries.
Can I get that vaccine biggie sized? Sorry, sir. Did you say biggie sized?
Are you?
Flu A and B.
The value flu shot.
Just
Pick
give me
4.
half. I just want half of it. My wife's gonna have the other half.
Do you have a little syringe key fob? You get a free flu shot every purchase.
We take one more.
Sure.
Flu shot fucked me up this year.
Really?
Oh, I felt terrible.
My mom got the flu and RSV at the same time, and it fucked her.
Gross. Ugh. All right, last call, and then we go into the intro.
Yes.
Oh, motherfucking Tadpog.
Hi, sexy.
It's your boy, VR Brew Pounder.
Verba pounder.
And I'll tell you, boys, I done stuck my dick in crazy.
Yeah.
And it was crazy glue. I knew she was too hot for me, too. I'll tell you, I'm almost 40, and she was picking me up at the playground. And I wanted to exchange numbers, and I'm like, oh, sure, our kids get along. Let's go.
Okay, I'm glad you. Wow. Hey.
This is a VR game?
I don't know what
Machi.
I don't know what I thought
I know what I
was
thought.
going on.
Is 480 getting really good at brew pounder impressions?
So we have a situation where Brew Pounder is at the playground,
Right.
with his
kid.
and a woman
Yes.
who is also at the playground
Right.
with her, apparently her children.
Yeah.
was making them play,
That's what I'm telling
putting
myself.
moves on it. And
Yes.
apparently she's crazy. Let's find out why.
And then $100 later at a Mexican restaurant, she's telling me to call her fucking little whore and bust all up inside of her and fill her with cum and choke her. And I'm all like, let's slow down here. Like, let's, need somewhere to go from this point on. And
There is more, brew pounder. Don't get scared.
we're going and we're doing it. And I'll tell you now, she's telling me her husband's getting involved, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, you need to come get me. And I was like, buddy, I'm a single parent. My kid's in bed. And she's like, I'm walking. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I was like, why did I tell you where I lived? But if she's hot, she's like 8 years younger than me, got that tight body. I'll tell you, it's all good. But anyways, guys, I was here.
What is happening? What is
When
happening?
you said the husband's getting involved, I was like,
Okay.
all right, cool, man. Three-way, whatever.
Yeah.
You do you. And then she's walking. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm walking here. And all of a sudden, it went more indistinguishable than a terrified Michelle call, where it's like they were like zigzagged. I was like, okay, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I know what's going. What?
He's reading
Walking?
the dictionary at this point out loud. Like, wait, what? Okay.
Did I time travel?
I think we did. I tell you, it's all good. That's what he said. I tell you, it's all good.
Congratulations on the sex.
Yeah.
I
And
mean-
possibly cucking a woman's husband, I guess. Maybe.
As long as everybody's consenting
As long
in that
as they're
situation.
having fun, I love it.
I'm good with that.
Probably saw their shit on Reddit by now.
Every hospitals too, but every hotel's got that cuck joke.
Every hospital has their cuck.
Everybody.
I'm feeling ill. Bring out the cuck.
Put him in the cuck chair.
Make him watch. Fuck patient. Man, that implies that every hospital has a bull.
A staff bull.
Man, I'm going to the wrong hospitals.
No, it's just that your insurance doesn't cover it.
I mean, it wouldn't.
They do that when they check you in. Eligible for staff bull?
No.
Don't even tell him about the staff bull. We've got a little more of this call. About half a minute to go. Here we go.
like, you guys are all guys of a certain age. Did you ever have a video game that influenced your taste in clothing? I'll tell you, I wanted a trench coat after The Matrix.
Of course.
Wasn't allowed in my school. So I went and got the leather jacket from Grand Theft Auto 3. I had me and a buddy, we bought the exact same jacket from the unnamed protagonist from GTA 3. So yeah, you ever have a video game? Dictate your clothing outfit. I'm pretty sure this is probably like Tyler's gonna be like, I wish I wore chains, but I'm sure his parents wouldn't let him. Love you guys. Bye.
Chains?
Chains?
From the levels of Mario that have chains? Or
I'm trying to think, yeah. I mean, my parents did, my friend Cody had a mesh shirt. And, oh, buddy, did my parents lose their goddamn minds when they saw that. Video game that influenced
Those are
my
really
choice of
popular
clothing.
in the 80s.
did your parents say anything to him or to you?
He was banned from the house.
So,
But of
like,
course,
did
when
you
he-
have to explain to him, you can't come over anymore? You wore a mesh shirt?
Well, I said,
or-
don't wear that shirt. So they didn't recognize him the next time they came over because all they paid attention to was the mesh shirt. So they didn't fucking know.
So they had a huge nipple fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up, son. Lift that shirt up. No.
Nope. I know those anywhere. I know those pert little pink nipples anywhere. Out.
I have his summer O shirt. still.
Wait, I need to. But before you leave,
Good.
I need to call Randy to come in here and verify that those are, in fact, the pert pink nipples we banned from this house last week.
Sir, have you seen these nipples?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no.
Yeah. I saw them.
I saw
I
them.
saw them. They're the galaxy nipples. They're all blown.
I was okay until you said
Well, that's a good one to go out on there for all calls. So thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, not SoundCloud, not Stitcher, Spotify, all over the place.
Did you take sleep meds?
No, not yet.
No, you're just you look
I am tired.
you look visibly sleepy.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah.
So most importantly, get that Patreon.
Yep. Once again, as I did last week,
You never know it's coming.
I keep forgetting about this part of the show. Patreon.com/TADPOG if you'd like to give us some money, or pisstasters.com.
Taste the piss.
I've got a list here of our generous executive producers. These are the fine folks that donate $20 or more per month to our show. And I'm going to read that list right now, starting with Plinko Nick Price, Cubicle Monkey, Cthusiast Jeff Miners, Joseph Phillips, Gamebug Prime Nathan Eaton, Matt Gentile, a.k.a. Gentle G, Louisville correspondent Princess Consuela Banana Hammock, Flavor Trick, Taryn Dahl, congratulations on your marriage, Pinball Airplane Archmage, Chris Edler, we're sorry you could not be on this episode, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Drink Smith Joey Webster, and Derek Pope Sandwich. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And if you think the list should be longer, you can always become an executive producer by donating $20 or more at pisstasters.com. Thanks always to Dane.
Yes,
for the
thanks.
show on YouTube. And that is, as they say, that.
Our theme song for the Sigma Drive. Link to that track from the show notes at TADPOG.com. You guys gonna close it out?
As Terrified Michelle.
Okay.
Pretty good. So until next time. I say, or the girl getting choked and filled by brew pound.
At the
We can say that
Mexican
for next time at the Mexican restaurant.
Thanks for the fajitas. Fill my pussy up.
Eat that vagina and now fill mine.
TADPOG is hosted and produced by Tyler Holland, Dave Moore, and Ian Chandler, and is available wherever fine podcasts are hosted. Have a question or comment for the hosts? Call us at 270-883-2555 and leave us a voicemail. We'll even play it on the show and respond eventually. Want to send us something? You can do that at TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. Sick of us doing all the talking? You can join in on the conversation by visiting our Discord at bit.ly/TADPOG Discord or tastethepiss.com. Not many things are truly free these days, but our Discord is, and we'd love to see you there. Our theme song is Moves by Sycamore Drive, and a link to that track can be found at the show notes at tadpog.com. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcasting platform. We really appreciate it.
We should do a lightning draft since our last lightning draft was overwhelmingly popular.
I am still getting messages from people just thanking us for that Stallone draft.
Oh, the feedback.
I've had to turn my notifications off.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stop. It's like
I get it.
I got work to do, people. I get that it was amazingly funny and relevant.
And our picks were all like what you would have picked.
And that you all, no one
had any notes.
Any notes or argument. It was the perfect draft and the perfect response to the perfect draft. So thank you all so much for that feedback. And you've inspired us to do it again.
So I have a what I would like to do is a lightning draft, if you guys don't mind, of Mexican food to eat before getting your pussy filled by brew pounder.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we will roll.
4.
I guess it's you.
Okay.
No, it would be Dave. If it goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dave.
It's Dave.
Yeah.
You go first.
Going tacos carne asada.
Bean burrito.
Fuck yeah. That's a good one.
You got to go the one filled with what looks like cum, chili poblanos.
Yeah, that is good. I'll go with queso. Thinking of cum? Queso. Just a bowl of queso with chips.
Beef soft taco. Because I do love a beef taco.
And you go soft after you come in a crazy woman.
Shrimp Diablo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or swollen clitoris period pussy.
Caliente.
Oh, see, you got a little Diablo like shrimp there.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
I'll go with Speedy Gonzalez.
Nice.
Which I'm sure every Mexican restaurant has a Speedy Gonzalez in the lunch menu, right? It's not just ours.
Choco taco.
Ah, shit, yeah, dude.
I don't even have to explain that one.
We're still going up.
Churro dipped in icing. That's my number 3.
Oh, that's right. I kicked this off.
started,
I forgot. I first thought that you did.
We each did 3? That was
3.
lightning fast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just hope that the feedback and response is so overwhelmingly
Just as
positive
good
again.
as last time.
Yeah. Trust me, this was a great one. This one has my fucking seal of approval on it. This is, if we just reuse this stinger for the next 3 months.
Oh, don't put it past me.
Believe it!